Hello online learner, welcome to our first lesson. In this lesson, we are going to discuss the units of length. We start with the introduction. In our introduction, we are going to define the term length, and length is defined as distance between 2 points. That is, if we are coming from point A, maybe it is one corner of the classroom to another corner. When you get that distance, that is length. And now, from this definition, it implies that when we are talking of breadth, when you are talking of width, when you are talking of radius, when you are talking of diameters, all those are examples of length. Now, the units or the SI unit of length is the meter. And when we talk of the SI unit, we are referring to the standard unit of measurement that can be used the whole world. So the standard unit of length is meters, but we still have multiples and sub-multiples of meters as tabulated in this table. We have that 1 kilometer is equivalent to 1,000 meters, 1 hectometer is equivalent to 100 meters, 1 decameter equivalent to 10 meters, 1 decimeter equivalent to 1 over 10 meters, 1 centimeter equivalent to 1 over 100 meters, and 1 millimeter equivalent to 1,000 meters. Now, if you take maybe an example of 1 centimeter that we commonly know, you find that when you multiply through by 100 both sides, this side you'll have 100 centimeter will be equivalent to 1 meter. That one is a common knowledge that 100 centimeter is equivalent to 1 meter. Again, 10 decimeter, you'll find that it is equivalent to 1 meter. We still have other prefixes that are used when referring to length. For instance, we have mega, and this refers to 1 million. Kilo means 1,000. Hecto means 100. Deca means 10. Deci means 1 over 10. Cent means 1 over 100. Milli means 1 over 1,000. And micro means 1 over 1 million. So it is also important to note that 1 meter will be equivalent to 10 decimeter, we've seen. Then 1 meter again is equivalent to 100 centimeter. 1 meter is 1,000 millimeter, and 1 meter is equivalent to 1 million micrometer. Then from there we can move to conversion of units of length. And now when we want to convert length from one unit to another, we either multiply or divide by multiples of 10. Maybe you want to move from greater value to a smaller value, or from smaller length to a larger length. We either multiply or divide using the multiples of 10. We can use this conversion to help, or this conversion that will help us to convert from one unit to the other. That is, 10 hectometer is equivalent to 1 kilometer, 10 decameter equivalent to 1 hectometer, and 10 meter equivalent to 1 decameter, 10 decimeter equivalent to 1 meter. Then we have 10 centimeter equivalent to 1 decimeter, and 10 millimeter equivalent to 1 centimeter. So for us now to recall this, we have a conversion flow chart that is going to help us to know when are we supposed to divide by 10 or by any multiple of 10, and when are we supposed to multiply. So we start by writing the unit, the largest, that is the kilometer. We have the hectometer. You want to move from kilometer to hectometer, you multiply by 10. You want to move from hectometer to kilometer, you divide by 10. Then from hectometer to decameter, you multiply by 10. And from decameter to hectometer, you divide by 10. From there, we are moving to meter. That is, from decameter to meter, you multiply by 10. And from meter to decameter, you divide by 10. From there, we are moving to decimeter. You multiply by 10. That is, if you are moving from meter to decimeter, you multiply by 10. But if you are moving from decimeter to meters, you divide by 10. From there, we have decimeter to centimeter. You multiply by 10. And from centimeter to decimeter, you divide by 10. Again, now the last one we have from centimeter to millimeter, you multiply by 10. And from millimeter to centimeter, you divide by 10. Now, if you look at this chart, it is so easy But for you to remember how this arrangement is, you need this mnemonic that says Kenya stands for kilometer, has hectometer, dag decameter, many meters, dam decimeter, containing centimeter, and maji millimeter. So you just say Kenya has dug many dams containing maji. Therefore, when you write this or when you write this down, you will recall all this. And now from here, you will know that from one to the other, when you're going downward, you multiply by 10. And from this bottom one to upward or to the top, you divide by 10. That way you can be able to convert any unit of length to the other. From there, we can move to examples. We are going to use our flow chart. So our example 1 says, convert the following measurement to hectometers. We have 42,000 decimeter. Then we have 32 kilometer. We have 700 decameter. And we have 5,060 meters. We proceed as follows. 1 hectometer is equals to 1,000 decimeter. And how are you getting that? You need to look at where we have hectometer to decimeter. You look how many tens are we multiplying. We have the first 10 to get decameter, the second 10 to meters, and the third 10 to decimeter. So 10 times 10 times 10, you get 1,000 decimeter. Therefore, how many hectometers are there in 42,000 decimeters? When you arrange like this, then you can cross multiply. And when you are cross multiplying, you make sure that the terms with the same unit are on one side. For instance, in our case here, we have hectometer, hectometer. Then on this side, we have decimeter, decimeter. Then we cross multiply x times 1,000, you get this one. Then 1 hectometer times 42,000, you get this one. Then from there, you want to get now hectometer. You divide through by 1,000. Remember, this is supposed to be hectometer. You divide through by 1,000 decimeter, you get that it is 42 hectometer. This will cancel out. So also, maybe you don't want to cross multiply. You just need to move to our flow chart. Remember, I've shown you how to recall the arrangement. So you just need to go to your flow chart and then look to where we have the decimeter and hectometer. And from decimeter to hectometer, for you to reach here, you need to divide it by 10 3 times. That is 42,000 divided by the first 10, then second 10, then third 10, so that you can get to hectometer. And that means that you're dividing by 1,000. And by so doing, you get the same value as 42 hectometer. Then number B, that is this one, we're supposed to convert 36 kilometers to hectometer. This one we can go directly to our chart here, because now we know where we have the kilometer and we want to move to hectometer. We have seen that you just multiply by 10. So that way it means that it will be 36 kilometer is equivalent to 36 times 10 hectometer, which is 360 hectometer. Then part C, we have 700 decameter. Again, you move to where we have decameter and you want to move to hectometer. So if you look at decameter and hectometer, you are moving upward. Therefore, you divide by 10. So it will be 7,700 divided by 10, you get 70 hectometer. Then from meter to hectometer, we divide by 10 twice. From here, you can be able to see that we are moving from meters to hectometer. So you divide by 10 and the second 10. So it's like you're dividing by 100, and therefore it will be 5060 or 5,060 meters divided by 10, and then you divide by another 10, you get 50.6 hectometer. From there, we move to another example. Again, we are using our flow chart or the conversion flow chart. So number 2, you are supposed to express the following in meters. We have 4 million micrometer, 3,000 kilometer, and 7 hectometer. So we proceed as follows. 1 meter, we have seen that it is equivalent to 1 million micrometer. So how many meters are there in 4 million micrometer? So again, we cross multiply. X multiplied by 1 million and 1 multiplied by 4 million. So this will be on one side and this other one will be on the other side. Now to get the value of X, you divide through by million both sides. So by so doing, you'll find that that will cancel all that. So we are left with, in our numerator we have 4, then multiplied by 1 meter, you get 4 meters. Then from there, we have second part, that 3,000 kilometer, you are converting this into meters. So 1 kilometer is equivalent to 1,000 meter. 3,000 kilometer is equivalent to X meters. Remember now, when you're using the cross multiplication, make sure that the units on one side are having the same units. So that now when you cross multiply, you will get that X multiplied by 1 kilometer is equals to 3,000 kilometer multiplied by 1,000 meters. And by so doing, then you get the value of 1 meter by dividing through by 1 kilometer. So again, the kilometer and kilometer will cancel out. And when you multiply this and this, you get 3 million meters. Then 1 hectometer, this one, is equivalent to 100. And I have shown you how you are getting this equivalent. From hectometer to meter, you are multiplying by 10 and 10. So you get 100. So 7 hectometers are having X. We are looking for X. So again, you can see that the units that are similar are on one side. So by cross multiplying, you get 7 times 100, then 1 times X. So to get X, you divide through by 1 hectometer. Again, this will cancel out. You're left with 7 multiplied by 100. You get 700 meters. So this one, again, is shown clearly that this one, 4 times 1, you get 4 meters. From there, we proceed to another example. In this example, you're supposed to subtract the first value from the second one and give the answers in meters. So we have the first and the second. So if you look at the first value here, we are given meters and millimeters, and in the second value, you are given kilometers and decameter. So the first thing is to convert all the terms in meters. So then now we have 560, then you add 60 millimeter. But this millimeter has to be converted into meters. And you do that by dividing by 1,000. So it will be 530 plus 60 over 1,000. You get 530 plus 0.06. You get that the value will be 530.06 meters. Then the second one, you convert it into meters again. 4 kilometer, you divide by 1,000. And then 1 decameter, you multiply by 10. So by so doing, you will get 4,000 plus 10, you get 4,010 meters. After converting them into the same unit, which is meters, then you subtract and you get that the value will be 347.94 meters. Then the second one, again, you have to convert it into meters. Decimeter into meters, you divide by 10, you get 3 meters. Then the second one, it is 18 meters. The centimeters, again, you divide by 100 to get in meters. You get that it will be 18 plus 0. When you divide this, 30 divided by 100, you get 0.3. You get that its value is 18.3. So again, you subtract 18.3 minus 3 meters, you get 15.3 meters. Then part 4, or question number 4. A tank which is 40 centimeter high contains water to depth of 160 millimeter. How far from the top is the water level in centimeter? We proceed as follows. We need to draw the diagram to show how this water is. So the depth is 40 centimeter from the top to the bottom. Then the height of water is 160. So the question is asking about this height. So if you look at what we need to do, you just need to subtract 40 minus the height of water. But remember, the height of water is in millimeter. So we need to convert this into centimeters. And we'll do that by dividing by 10. So our height will be 40 centimeter minus 160 divided by 10, which is 40 minus 16. And you get that this height is just 24 centimeters. Then from there, you have the assignment. The assignment is testing what we have just covered. So make sure that you practice a lot. In mathematics, you need to practice and team teach so that you can retain the concept for a longer time. So thank you, and let us meet in our next lesson.